In this video, I am going to break down Amazon KDP's recent print royalty rate and paperback printing cost changes and share my action plan for my low content books. Now keep in mind, this isn't just bad news for low content book publishers. It's a huge deal for coloring books and children's books authors as well. For example, traditionally published children's chapter books are priced around $4 to $6. If independent authors don't raise their prices, they will need to sell significantly more books just to maintain the same income. So if you are feeling uncertain about your low content books, medium content books, coloring books, or even children's book business, stick around. I'm going to share exactly what I will be doing to respond to this major shakeup. First, let's go over the basics of the announcement. Starting June 10, 2025, Amazon is dropping the royalty rate for print books priced below $9.99 from 60% to 50%. According to KDP, this change is happening because of increasing operational costs. Now, you might think it's just a 10% royalty reduction, but the real impact is in the minimum list price. And this is where it gets interesting. Here's the thing. When you price your book, Amazon sets a minimum list price to cover printing costs and ensure they still make money. Right now, the minimum list price is calculated like this. When the royalty rate drops to 50%, the calculation changes. This means that some of your books may no longer meet the minimum list price requirement, resulting in zero royalties unless you increase your price. This is the real impact, not just the royalty cut, but the forced price increase. To make this crystal clear, I'm going to show you two examples. First, a standard notebook in the low content category. Second, a coloring book in the medium content category. Let's start with the composition notebooks. If you check the bestsellers in composition notebooks on Amazon, you will see that the top selling one is priced at just $2.28 for 200 pages. However, it's not a standard trim size, it's 7.5 by 9.75 inches. Now, if you wanted to sell a similar size composition notebook through KDP, your current minimum list price would be $7.33. But after June 10th, that minimum list price will jump to $8.80. That's a huge difference that makes it almost impossible to compete with these traditionally published or mass-produced versions. To give you a clear idea, if you search for composition notebook on Amazon, you will find a KDP one that's 7.5 by 9.25 inches with 110 pages, priced at $6.95. Even now, its price is nearly 3 times higher than the mass-produced bestseller, despite having half the number of pages. Currently, this book earns around $1.30 per sale, but if the price remains the same after the royalty change, the profit will drop to just 61 cents, less than half. That's a massive reduction and a clear indicator of how challenging it will be to maintain margins without adjusting prices. Now, since many of you are into coloring books, let's also look at the bestseller in coloring books on Amazon. For example, there's a popular Kokowaya coloring book with 88 pages, size at 8.5 by 8.5 inches, and price at $7.99. If you were to create a similar book and sell it at the same price, your current earnings per sale would be $1.95. However, after June 10th, if you don't increase the price, your royalty would drop to $1.16. To maintain the same income, you would need to sell about 68% more books. And believe me, if your profit is around $1, it will be incredibly hard to run profitable ads in such a competitive niche. This is why understanding these changes is crucial if you want to survive and thrive in this space. There are a few big reasons this is bad news. First, increase minimum list prices. Competing with FBA sellers becomes harder when your price is forced up. Second, lower profit margins. If you keep your book under $9.99, you will have less margin and running profitable ads will be even more challenging, especially in competitive niches. Third, risk of bot triggers. If you update your older books, there is a risk of triggering Amazon's bots for things like repetitive keywords in your book titles, which could lead to unnecessary blocks or removals. So here's my plan. First, I am not going to reduce my royalties. About 90% of my books are low content and most are priced under $9.99. I will be updating the prices. I will start with my most recently published books and work my way back. Next, I will tackle older books that don't sell well to test if updating triggers Amazon's bots. This way I can spot issues before touching my bestsellers. Finally, I will update my bestsellers once I am sure it's safe. Additionally, I will focus on smaller niches with fewer FBA sellers. These niches are less impacted by the competition, allowing for better pricing flexibility. This change isn't the end of KDP, but it does mean we need to adapt. I'm sorry to say that after this change, I believe many people will have to leave the Amazon KDP low content and coloring book business due to the lower royalties. Amazon KDP will likely become more interesting for medium and high content books. Remember, we are in the age of e-commerce, and there are always new opportunities emerging. I'm currently testing some new online business models, and I will be sharing those with you on this channel once I have solid results. So make sure to subscribe if you want to stay ahead of these changes and discover new ways to grow your online business. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.